Okay, so I'm going to be talking about Paradise Lost by Milton John, looking at this book through a psychoanalytical lens. And so basically, as I was reading this, I came up with the theme that actions driven by jealous and vengeful motivations will only cause the perpetrator pain because their emotions will only cloud their judgment. And this is seen throughout the entire book, really, as Satan is portrayed as the main antagonist, obviously, Satan. But he's portrayed as, like, the main antagonist, and you can see that everything he does really, like, doesn't benefit him at all in the end. Like, I have three main instances of this that I thought were fairly important throughout my book. So, the first instance that I see Satan acting on jealous or vengeful motivations is when it's right after God announces that he's chosen his son, but it's not Satan, and so he gets very upset about that, and so he tries to band his he has an army of fallen angels, like demons that he has with him, and he tries to defeat God's army of angels and God himself with them. And so he does this repeatedly, and he constantly loses, and he's trying to prove a point that he can be better than God himself, but he really just humiliates himself, and that's a common thing that he does throughout this book. And so in this specific scene, it says, quote, "In might or swift prevention, but the sword of Michael from the armory of God was given him tempered so that neither keen not solid might resist that edge. It met the sword of Satan with steep force to smite, descending and in half cut sheer, nor stayed, but with swift wheel reverse, deep entering sheared all his right side. Then Satan first knew pain, and writhed him to and fro convolved, so sore the grinding sword with discontinuous wound passed through him, but the ethereal substance closed. There they him laid, gnashing for anguish and despite and shame, to find himself not matchless, and his pride humbled by such rebuke, so far beneath his confidence to equal God in power." So yes, this is a very, like, strong instance of him, like, wanting to prove God wrong, because the reason he's fighting God in the first place is because he's jealous that he has chosen someone else as the son. And so he tries to prove that he doesn't need God, and he doesn't even, let alone, he shouldn't even be the son, but, like, he's better than God himself. He should be the father. But, so he tries to prove this by, like, starting wars with God's army of angels. But in the end, he's never won, and even then, in the last fight, he even gets really, like, gets done in by, Michael, the angel. And then it says it humbles him even, such rebuke so far beneath his confidence to equal God in power. So not only is he, like, humiliated in front of all of his demon buds, but, like, just his self-confidence is just, like, dwindling. So that's how it results in pain for him. Another instance that I saw of him acting on vengeful motivations is that, really his motivation throughout the whole book is really just, he's acting in spite of not being chosen as the son. So, another instance, this specific scene, he wants to say that all of his work has sullied God's creation. But that doesn't work out for him, as God just decides to replace Satan with more angels, and even then, after he has caused Adam and Eve to commit the first sin, God just says that he will replace them with a second human race. And so this quote, "At least our envious foe hath failed, who thought all like himself rebellious. Ooh, I should mention, this is Angel Raphael speaking. He's telling Adam about the story of how Satan came to be. So, at least our envious foe hath failed, who thought all like himself rebellious, by whose aid of deity supreme, us dispossessed, he trusted to have seized, and into fraud drew many, whom their place knows here no more. And then it goes on to say, but lest his heart exalt him in harm already done, to have dispeopled heaven, my damage fondly deemed, I can repair that detriment, if such it be to lose, self-lost, and in a moment will create another world. Out of one man, a race. So in that first half of that quote, Raphael's talking about how Satan had led to the fall of some angels, how he has rallied his own little following in hell, and how he thought that he was really cool for that, honestly. And it's not really the case, as he had done that to say that he was able to dirty the creation of God, that he was the one who would cause the downfall of what God has created. But in that second half of the quote, that detriment, if such it be to lose, self-lost, and in a moment will create another world, out of one man a race. So, like, even if Satan had made Adam and Eve create the first sin, it doesn't really matter, because God is God, and he just makes a whole new world, and like just a new human race, like clean start. It's as if all of Satan's hard work really didn't matter in the end, and really it kind of doesn't. I know that may be like debatable in modern times, as people believe that people go to hell because of the first sin. We have free choice or free will, and that it's all for naught. But like in this story, it's really not a big deal. Like, pretty crazy. Satan thinks he's all that, but he really isn't, and those past 2 points have shown that. And in this third point, I have just the culmination of everything Satan has done from the beginning. Just like everything that just sprouted from his jealousy is not being chosen as a son. That has that really like was that really messed things up for him and his boys down in hell, as they are left to suffer for the rest of eternity. So the quote I have here is when I think Raphael again is speaking to Adam and telling him what's gonna happen to Satan. Or it's when the son is dealing out punishments for what Adam and Eve have done, and also Satan. And so this quote, to Satan first in sin his doom applied, though in mysterious terms judged then as best, and on the serpent thus his curse let fall, because thou hast done this. Thou art accused above all cattle, each beast of the field, upon thy belly groveling thou shalt go, and dust shalt eat all the days of thy life. So basically it's just like the son saying, hey, everything you've done, I'm gonna turn you into a serpent. And that's not all. Serpents will have to just crawl on their bellies for the rest of their life, and you can only eat dirt. And like, that's a pretty big repercussion for what he's done, and it's well deserved in many's opinions. But like, it just goes to show that all this he did because he was jealous, and so he planned to get revenge. But in the end, he just causes suffering for himself and those around him. So it's not only affecting him, but all the demons. So yeah, that's how I read Paradise Lost, with the theme that it's just all of that has just reinforced the theme that actions driven by jealous and vengeful motivations will only cause the perpetrator pain, because their emotions will only cloud their judgment. Satan probably could have talked it out with God, didn't, and then the repercussions happen. And so yeah, jealous motivations, not good at all, Satan. Better luck next time.